WCIA3+. This is Tea Time with your host, Brandon Morano.
Welcome to Tea Time. With me today is Jim Buyze with Atkins Golf Club. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Let's talk a little bit about your story before we get into today, just kind of what got you into golf and your story with the sport.
So actually, I started my career in golf right here in Champaign-Urbana. I was playing basketball at Parkland.
Okay.
Tore up my knee a little bit and started working at Lincolnshire Fields with Becky Beach.
Oh, the legend.
The legend.
Yeah, we want to have her on at some point.
So that was my introduction to being in a golf shop. Wound up going from Parkland to Ferris State University. They have the first ever PGA accredited professional golf management major.
Okay.
So I went ahead
Where's
and
Ferris State?
there. Big Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
Fun fact about that is one of our starters, Joe O'Brien, was the director of education for the PGA of America when the PGM program started at Ferris.
No way.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
So he was actually the guest speaker at my senior banquet up there.
So he was the guest speaker?
He was the guest speaker.
So were you part of like the first, one of the first classes?
No,
or?
I was about, I think 75 was the first class, so it's the 50th anniversary this fall.
Okay.
I started there in fall of 86 and graduated in 89.
And what's been some memorable moments along the way for you?
I've met a ton of really, really great people. Met a lot of my idols. Dr. J, Julius Erving being the biggest one that I met when I was working at a facility.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Really cool people. But I also got to work with other PGA professionals. Got to volunteer. My first major experience was at the PGA Championship on one of my internships in 1988 in Oklahoma, when the merchandise tent was about the size of this room.
No way, that's small.
So it's really grown, in the last 50 years, 45 years, whatever that was. But then up to being in the Wisconsin section, a good part of my career, being able to volunteer at the PGA Championship at Whistling Straits was just fantastic, and getting to see up close how good they are and hear some of their stories. And big highlight to actually be here too, and working some with Mike Small on the Fighting Illini team.
He's a great coach out there. I mean, one of the best in the country, if not the best.
Yeah, phenomenal coach, and not just on the course. I think he teaches them a lot about being professionals in whatever career they wind up in. Obviously, PGA Tour is the goal.
Right.
But just really, really great people that I've met that have played for Coach and played for the Illini. And
speaking of Illini, let's talk about Jackson a little bit. He's coming off a real good stretch of golf. I mean, he's played in his first major. He's got a win on the Korn Ferry.
Yep. Yeah, and I actually talked to him yesterday.
Okay, how's he doing? I meant to text him, but
he and Tommy Cool were all playing.
Okay.
He's on his way up to Canada. So they're at the practice facility working with Coach a little bit and practicing with some better equipment and facilities than they normally get while they're out on the road. But Tommy's heading up to the Korn Ferry qualifier on Monday, and Jackson's playing a Canadian Tour event next week.
Oh, he is? Okay,
Yep.
So he's doing – what's his plan then? Is he going Korn Ferry or doing both?
It's a combination of, but he is fully exempt on PGA Tour Americas.
Okay.
So Latin America when it's a little bit colder out, and then Canada through the summer.
That's great. I mean, for him to do that coming right out of college and rolling into it like this is just
phenomenal.
Outstanding.
He's on a very, very good path right now. And then when you look at some of the other graduates from not that long ago, Adrian started on the Korn Ferry.
50 was it 58 or 59?
59.
59?
59 a few weeks ago, but that's the hard thing about this game is you got to do it 4 days in a row.
Right. Unless you're
and
on
at
live.
that level, somebody's going to do it.
Yep. That's true. Let's talk a little bit about the Open, and then we're going to play I think, an all-time 5 minutes from Scotty Scheffler. Just about, I think it's really important for especially kids that are watching.
Oh, for sure.
The message that he gave before the Open.
Yeah.
I thought was really cool. But let's talk the Open a little bit. I'm going to pull up the leaderboard. Give me a minute here to pull it up on the there's a couple storylines that I wanted to talk about before we got to Scotty.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about some events you got coming up at Atkins here a little bit later coming up. But let's get into this. So the Open. I still want to call it the British Open.
It's all right.
There we go.
That's our American slang.
Yes. All right. Well, that's not it. Hold on. I got it. I'm just trying to get it full screen here. There we go.
There you go.
All right. Let's put that up here. Well, that didn't work. Hold on. I'll come back out here. Anyway, okay, we can't get it to pop up, but we got Matt Fitzpatrick leading right now at 4 under, but I think this might be on a delay. Yeah. So Harris English at 5 under. Fitzpatrick and a few others at 4. Tyrrell Hatton is there at 3 under. Ricky Fowler, another big name. We've got Phil at 1 under. Scotty, obviously, there at 3 under as well. Any names stick out to you? Brian Harmon, 2 under. The Illini, I'm trying to find him here.
Last I saw, they were both 1 over. Dietrich was finished.
Yep.
And Campbell's through 12 or something like that.
As of this recording right now, Thursday, July 17th, yeah, Campbell is 1 over through 12. So he's still got some time to.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, birdies can come for sure. So let's get into that sound from Scotty. I just thought that was he was asked about the importance of winning and losing, and I just thought it was great. So here it is.
That's just how it is. You know, it's great to win tournaments. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes the feeling only lasts about 2 minutes, it seems like, you know, when you're celebrating, and then it's like, okay, now you got to go do all this other stuff, and which is great. But, you know, sometimes the feeling of winning only lasts a few seconds, and, you know, it's pretty exciting and fun, but it just doesn't last that long.
Okay, Mike from number 4.
You know, I think it's kind of funny. I think, you know, I think I said something after the Byron this year about, like, it feels like you work your whole life to celebrate winning a tournament for, like, a few minutes. It only lasts a few minutes, that kind of euphoric feeling. And like to win the Byron Nelson Championship at home, I literally worked my entire life to become good at golf, to have an opportunity to win that tournament. And you win it, you celebrate, get to hug my family, my sister's there. It's such an amazing moment. And then it's like, okay, now what are we going to eat for dinner? You know, life goes on. Is it great to be able to win tournaments and to accomplish the things I have in the game of golf? Yeah. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes just to think about, because it's literally worked my entire life to become good at this sport, and to have that kind of sense of accomplishment, I think is a pretty cool feeling. You know, to get to live out your dreams is very special. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not out here to inspire the next generation of golfers. I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of, like, the deepest, you know, places of your heart. You know, there's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to number 1 in the world, and then they're like, what's the point? And, you know, I really do believe that, because, you know, what is the point? You're like, why do I want to win this tournament so bad? That's something that I wrestle with on a daily basis. It's like showing up at the Masters every year. It's like, why do I want to win this golf tournament so badly? Why do I want to win the Open Championship so badly? I don't know. Because if I win, it's going to be awesome for about 2 minutes. And then we're going to get to the next week, and it's going to be like, hey, you won 2 majors this year. How important is it for you to win the FedEx Cup playoffs? And it's just like, we're back here again, you know? So we really do. We work so hard for such little moments, and I'm kind of a sicko. I love putting in the work. I love being able to practice. I love getting out to live out my dreams. But at the end of the day, sometimes I just don't understand the point, because I don't know if I'm making any sense or not, but am I not? It's just one of those deals. I love the challenge. I love being able to play this game for a living. It's one of the greatest joys of my life. But does it fill the deepest wants and desires of my heart? Absolutely not. I love playing golf. I love being able to compete. I love living out my dreams. I love being a father. I love being able to take care of my son. I love being able to provide for my family out here playing golf. And, every day when I wake up early to go put in the work, my wife thanks me for going out and working so hard. And when I get home, I try and thank her every day for taking care of our son. It's just, that's why I talk about families being my priority, because it really is. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life, or it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or with my son, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living. This is not the be-all, end-all. This is not the most important thing in my life, and that's why I wrestle with, why is this so important to me? Because, I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. That at the end of the day, that's what's more important to me.
But I think that's why I asked the question the way I did. What is losing like for you?
It sucks. I hate it. I really do.
But that's part of the competition.
That is, and I think that's why we try to work so hard to not lose. But golf's a game where you just lose a lot more often than you win. That's just a simple part of it. In basketball or football, when there's only two guys out there, you can win a lot more than you lose. But I think I was looking at stats. It was one of the best tennis players. It might have been Federer or Djokovic or somebody. They only won like 48% of their points or something like that. Playing professional sports is a really weird thing to do. It really is, just because we put in so much effort. We work so hard for something that's so fleeting. It really is. The feeling of winning just doesn't last that long. When I sit back at the end of the year and, I kind of try to reflect on things, having that sense of accomplishment from winning the Masters tournament, from winning the PGA Championship, I have a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for it. But it's just hard to explain how it just doesn't satisfy, is how I would describe it. It's an unsatisfying venture. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is this is not the place to look for your satisfaction. This is something that's where you can have a great appreciation for, and a great amount of thankfulness for being able to do this. And it's, like I said, it's literally one of the most fun things that I can do in my entire life. I love being able to come out here and play golf and compete. But at the end of the day, it's just not what satisfies me.
So what do you think of Scotty there?
I think you made a lot of great points. And it's not just true of athletes, it's true of all of us, where our job tends to define who we are. How well we do at work kind of defines our success or failure, and he's saying there's much more important things. And at the end of the day, it's just golf. And he'd much rather be remembered for being a good husband and a good father.
And I'm going to let people in on a little bit of this. We couldn't hear Scotty. Thankfully, you and I both watched it prior, so we know what he said, but we couldn't hear him on the podcast. So we just had a little bit of adversity ourselves, technically, and I just thought about, back to what he said, right?
Absolutely. Bigger things than a little technical difficulty that's going to be fixed in post-production anyway.
100%. So let's talk about your journey a little bit more. You're the general manager over at
Correct.
Atkins, but you're also a teaching pro, and
Right.
that was your love, correct?
Yeah. It's I always like golf operations. I like tournament operations a lot. But one of the more fun areas in my career, over the last 10 or 15 years, has been taking people who were struggling and frustrated, getting them to look at the golf swing a little bit differently, getting them to move the club a little bit differently, and watch how that affected their ball flight, and hopefully, get a little bit more control, a little bit better results, and enjoy the game a little bit more.
And you were talking, so what do you do with beginners? You're not taking them out and hitting the course right away, right?
No, we don't hit the course right away. We really just want shots. How many shots are you getting in the air? Once we got you getting in the air consistently, we'll probably worry about how far it goes before we worry about how straight it goes.
Yep.
And then we just kind of zero in from there. But that's kind of the progression: is ball in the air consistently, ball a little bit further consistently, and then we'll worry about direction.
And you mentioned something really interesting that I've never heard before when we were off camera. You say that most golfers play the game two-dimensionally, meaning direction and distance.
Correct. We really don't care if we got a 150-yard par 3. We really don't care how it gets there. Is it reasonably at the pin? And did it go 150 yards?
Yeah. But professional golfers, they add a couple dimensions.
Right. You know, especially when I watch the Illini team play and I watch them play out at Atkins, our greens tend to be a little more firm. I mean, I can hit the ball far enough.
Yeah, they're slippery out there sometimes.
But I can't hit the ball high enough to stop on those greens consistently. And I watch these guys not only hit it higher, but they'll hit it high and curve it right, curve it left, whatever they want to do, so they can start it on a line and they can curve it to the ultimate target. And they can do that at varying trajectories. So it's really, really impressive how they can control a golf ball.
And I think that's something that I know I'll never be able to do, purposely hit a cut or a draw or, I'll never be able to do that.
I can get it to go right or left. The question is how far right or left at times. And I think that's what most of us struggle with.
Yep. What is your biggest advice to people just picking up the sport or maybe just wanting to get a little better at it?
You know, there's nothing that's going to punish you so severely for making a mistake and reward you so little for doing it right. So you've really, really, really got to be patient, number one. And you've really got to be resilient because you're going to have a whole lot more bad results than good results.
It's true.
You know, we look at the greats, and we were talking about Scotty Scheffler quite a bit. And how many times does he win out of 10?
Yeah, I mean maybe 1, 2.
Yeah, and if he wins more than 3 times in a season, wow, that's Hall of Fame stuff. If you do that a couple of years in a row,
right?
But they're playing, 30 events.
Yeah.
So if they win 10% of the time,
they're
3
Hall
of Fame.
Yeah, and that's what people, I think, that's so hard for at least me to grasp is the difference. I was talking to Jackson about it a little bit. The difference between your, say plus handicapper on a Muni and a professional golfer.
Right.
I mean, it's still night and day.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Even though their scores might be similar, it's still night and day because of the courses.
And the biggest difference is how high the average golfer or the scratch golfer, how high his scores can go or her scores,
right,
versus how high a tour player's scores can go. There's definitely a much lower ceiling where they can hit the ball absolutely horribly and still
probably shoot
hang out right around par.
Yeah. And that's what's so impressive to me about it is like on their worst day,
absolutely,
they're shooting even par or just over.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the conditions at the U.S. Open and how difficult that would have been. I don't know if I legally could have finished. I might have had to cheat just to get the ball through 72 holes.
Really?
It was incredibly difficult.
That, I mean, to me, you were talking about the difference that you got to hit the ball. It's almost like playing a long bump and run at these types of courses, like over there in Ireland and at the U.S. Open.
One of the things that I really enjoy about these types of tournaments is seeing how creative the players are and the different types of shots you have to play in links golf versus the courses we see around here.
And okay, let's get into a little bit about Atkins. You guys went through a rebrand.
Yep.
And some renovations that finished up in 2021. I was out there playing it last weekend. Course looks great.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nate Massey, our superintendent, is just doing a phenomenal job. He's been a little bit short-staffed. He's had a couple key people with some issues. Weather has not been his best friend. Really,
rough
really
over
difficult
the past
to
couple
keep
weeks.
a golf course in good condition in this. And you could see a lot of that at the John Deere Classic a couple of weeks ago with the burned out spots on the greens.
You could, yeah.
When they cut that short and make those greens that firm in this kind of heat, you'll get those patches that just dry out and kind of burn up a little bit. We've got a couple of those on the tees, but overall the fairways and greens are in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, I was really, really blown away when I was out there last weekend. what you got some events coming up too?
Yeah, we do. We have got. We actually just did a state open qualifier last Wednesday, and we also did a kids drive, chip, and puck qualifier on that same day last Wednesday. Those were a lot of fun. And then upcoming, we've got a amateur players tour event on Sunday. Sorry if you didn't register already. Registration's closed for that.
Yep. I'll be in the field.
We've got a high school event coming up. Effingham is doing a 2-day invitational, 18 holes here, 18 holes up at Wybring in Bloomington Normal. So yeah,
great.
we got some great events coming up.
That's awesome. And so, tell people who may have, may have played when it was back in the Stone Creek days, that haven't been out there since. What can they expect to see when they come back out?
Yeah, so the biggest changes that we've made are we added some tee boxes to add some distance. We built the greens, from what I understand. I wasn't here when it was Stone Creek. Very similar shape, very similar size. So the breaks on the greens are similar, but the greens are much, much firmer than they used to be. And then every bunker on the golf course was rebuilt, if not moved to another location.
Okay.
So some of the things that were there before, for instance, on hole number 10 and hole number 18, there's that creek that runs between the two holes.
Okay, yep.
The bunker was on the same side of the fairway as the creek.
Gotcha.
We've actually moved those to the other side and narrowed that in quite a bit. So now you got to pick your poison. You want to challenge the bunker, you want to challenge the creek.
Yeah, I'll challenge the bunker each time.
And the bunker technology is probably what's changed the most in golf. We put in what's called a Better Billy bunker system.
Okay, what's that?
It's actually, the only way I can describe the process is it looks like a spray-in bed liner for a pickup truck.
Okay.
They actually put that over, that's the liner of the bunker, and it helps to hold the sand in place. And we also used a manufactured sand called Pro Angle sand. So it's made to stay up in the lip and not blow away.
Okay, well, it does a good job.
So we can actually take a glass of water, pour it down into the bunker, into the face of the bunker, and the water will just permeate out and the sand won't move.
Wow.
So it takes a lot less time during rainfall to put the bunkers playable again, and a lot less sand blows away. A lot more consistent from wet to dry.
Is that something, I haven't heard of manufactured sand, maybe it's just because I'm not a golf course GM, but is that something that's becoming more common?
It is becoming more and more popular.
Okay.
And when you look at it under a microscope, instead of being smooth little pebbles and grains of sand, there's actually geometric shapes sticking out of them. You know, it might have an arrow, it might have like a triangle sticking out of it, or just a straight little like thorn sticking out of it. And that allows water to go through without the sand moving.
Okay. What are you expecting this weekend? So I'm playing in the Amateur Players Tour field this weekend. Have you never held an APT event like that?
We held one last year.
You did? Okay.
And I think there were a couple players mid to low 70s. But it's competitive, but it's not as competitive as collegiate golf, obviously.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are there to have fun. A lot of people like to get the competitive juice flowing a little bit with a little something on the line. Not
yeah,
a ton,
just a little something.
Something.
You can win your entry fee back.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So much depends, much like with the Open this weekend, so much depends on what the weather does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be huge. I mean, if it comes in early in the morning, we're going to be playing all day in it. If it comes in midday, you're going to get maybe 9 in, and then the back 9 is going to be totally different. So I'm excited for it to see what it brings.
And Nicholas used to talk about days like that. Aging myself there by talking about Jack Nicklaus, but he used to talk about how when the weather was bad, half of the field was mentally defeated before they even teed off because they just didn't want to play in it.
Yep.
So he said he used to get a little bit excited about playing in those elements. Phil Mickelson said something similar because he'd get the golf course to himself, and he'd get to practice all kinds of different shots where he didn't have to worry about his pace of play and what's going on behind him.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. I mean, I played last weekend. We were at Lake of the Woods playing out there, and started raining on us. We only got 9 in, but started raining on us about halfway through the front 9. Played the last 4 holes in the rain.
Yeah.
Number 9, I hit one. It went right down the middle, but my club went about 40 yards straight to the left. And I was like, okay, I think we should probably call it after this.
If you are going to be a mudder and try to play in that, the rain gloves are a fantastic investment. And when it's just a little bit misty and I put my rain gloves on, I actually dip them in water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're much better off if they're soaked.
If they're already wet?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm going to, number 1, get some rain gloves again. Number 2, I'll wet them.
There you go.
Before I play with them. Well,
perfect.
Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you want to add about Atkins before we?
Yeah,
before we
you know
get
what?
in?
A couple of things. I brought up some immediate things that are coming, but things you probably can't plan. We've got a couple events coming up that you can.
Okay, great.
We are hosting the Brad Underwood Rebounders golf outing. That is, I believe, I want to say it's the 20th of August. And then we've got the Illini Women's Golf Classic. Going to be interesting. They actually moved that to a Thursday night cocktail reception and a Friday night golf event. And it is the same day. It's the 29th, so the same day as the first home football game.
Yep. So and they can just go on your website. I would pull it up here, but we're having some technical difficulties with the computer screen and whatnot. So what are those dates again, and when can people?
The Rebounders, I believe, is the 20th of August, and the Illini Golf Classic for the women is the 29th. There's a cocktail reception and an auction the 28th with that as well. But great events. And then also, we just finished renovating our Skyview room, which is our largest banquet room. Seats 150. We now have full AV up there.
Okay.
We used to have an echo problem. Talk about technical difficulties.
Yep.
Got rid of that. So the room is really, really, really nice now. No more worrying about bringing AV in from outside, which A, got expensive. B, it brings someone else into the mix. So it's a one-stop shop for that. And we're already starting to book Christmas and holiday parties. So we're looking forward to not only
already
the rest
6
of the
months
golf
out.
season, not only the golf season, we're looking forward to the off season and hosting other events, watch parties, that kind of thing too.
Yeah, and I've had the food there at the restaurant. It's great as well.
Yeah, we've got a great food and beverage staff. Sonny, our executive chef, has got a great team in the kitchen, and they've really done some great stuff with the menu. Banquet food's been phenomenal too.
All right, Jim. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
All right.